What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to your channel. And for today's video, we have some more roster mania craziness. Crone went ahead and decided to drop intel on the entirety of the league. So I'm gonna go through and give my opinions on the proposed leaked rosters. And we're just gonna do what we did in the last couple of videos. You guys seem to absolutely love this style of off-season content, and off-season content in itself is very hard to do. So whenever I get the opportunity, whenever the opportunity presents itself, I do have to take advantage. So here we are. And I do want to preface this video with one thing. I did tweet, by the time you guys are seeing this, it'll be yesterday, that like leaking and like the way that like it happens in COD is whack. And a lot of people, I gave you a lot of backlash for it, and I understand that like leaking is a thing in esports and like regular sports, and it's just like a thing in general. Thing like if you follow traditional sports, more like Woj, it's like when I tweeted that, people took it like super far out of context, because like in Call of Duty, it's super personality driven. Like I say that all the time if you guys follow me. But it's super personality driven and story based, and you know there's a lot of like different ways to propose roster videos, and I think that like that's lost almost. Like those videos can still happen, and you know it just takes a little bit away from it, in my opinion. Like I literally, the tweet was literally like leaking is whack in COD, and people were like, fuck you, you don't know what you're talking about, shut up, pro player, it happens all the time in real sports. And I was like, rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know, I feel like if the organizations had the opportunity to announce their rosters without, you know, it being on social media beforehand, I feel like it would be a lot cooler. The comparison that I was drawing was like, if people didn't know that Krim and Dylan were gonna get dropped, like nobody knew, it like wasn't on social media at all, and then boom, it like just happened, and like the shockwaves that sent, as opposed to like it getting leaked. I don't know, I'm on a tangent, never mind, we'll start the video. So guys, we're gonna start at the top of the day. Like I said, Crone pretty much gave input on every single roster that's being constructed in the CDL. So we're gonna go through, just give my initial impressions, because this video would be 25 minutes long if I went in depth with every roster. So we're not gonna do that. So up first, we have the London Royal Ravens, and when they originally squad wiped a couple of days ago, they kept Afro, because the initial impressions that the majority of the community got was that Afro was a star-studded SMG. Playing against him myself, both on LAN and online this past season, I'm inclined to agree. The kid does have some pretty severe gunny, so he was really fun to play against, because like just when you play against people that are of high caliber, you know, the back and forth, it gets really fun. So hats off to Afro for his rookie season. Obviously didn't place too well, but you know, it's kind of hard to do when you come in towards the bottom half of the league, or the bottom of the league rather. So they decided to build around Afro. Again, guys, just gonna preface this is all unconfirmed by the way. So the community's initial impressions was that London was going to build out an all-European roster, as they should be in the London Royal Ravens, to put around Afro. So you have Zero, Nasty, and Gizmo, and if I'm being 100% honest with you guys, I know dippity doodah about Gizmo and Nasty. So I know Nasty was he was like very close to playing during the Cold War season for London, so I guess that was where his in originally started with the team. So I know he was supposed to play, it was like super early in the season, and I don't know shit about Gizmo if I'm being honest with you guys, but I know Trey, and Trey's really good at COD. I don't know Afro, and Afro's pretty good at COD. So you know, from what the community perception has been from the European side of things, that this team is really good and it has all the right moving parts in order to be a contending European squad, which I'm really happy about. I don't really think there's going to be too many Seattle Surges in the league this year, so that's pretty good to see, because I feel like the last 2 years it's been definitely more top heavy. Yeah, there's just matchups you knew the outcome of beforehand, and from what the leaks, but unconfirmed leaks, have been, I think that that's not going to be a thing this year. So hats off to London. They're moving in the right direction according to everyone else, because again, I have zero idea of what they're doing, because I don't know anything about their team, but everyone else seems to think it's a good idea. So good job, London. Moving on to my alma mater, the Seattle Surge. This team is allegedly Lamar, Pred, Mac, and Sib. Lamar being accuracy. Sorry guys, I knew you'd get mad at me. This team is either going to be quite good or quite bad, and there's no in between, in my opinion. You have the formula for a good team. You have a veteran, and you have 3 somewhat amateur players. I would really consider Mac an amateur at this point, but somewhat amateur players. Sib has one of the most high skill ceilings I think that a challenger player has shown. I think that's kind of universally known. I think the idea here is to have Sib on a flex and then Pret on a flex. I don't fucking know. The guy's Australian. He's really good though, from what I have heard. So everyone's throwing Pred's name around like immediately. It's kind of like a Hydra situation where like not a lot of people knew about him beforehand, but then suddenly everyone thought that he was like godlike. That's kind of the same thing as what's going on with Pred here. So you have Lamar, veteran leadership, IGL, Iceman. You guys all know the stigmas about Lamar, phenomenal Call of Duty player. Did 1v3 me on Miami because my headset didn't work. Shout out Lamar. So you have Mac, who is going to be running a sub on this team, I think is the initial impression that I've gotten. Mac's really fucking good with a sub. People forgot that he was good with a sub Modern Warfare because he ran an AR in Cold War, and recency bias in COD is fucking crazy. So Mac on a sub, that's gonna be good. The only thing is like this team, like I don't really know how to like place them, if that makes sense. Like I don't know where I would put this team. I don't hate it, but it's just like a weird group of players, but they're all talented, so I don't know how it's gonna go. Now we get into the juicy shit. Allegedly the Los Angeles Guerrillas are allegedly attempting to go after Slasher, Gunless, Asim, and Hook. Team's pretty good. Now obviously, we all know that Austin and Pierce have butted heads in the past. I don't know if that is water under the Los Angeles bridge or if, you know, old demons are going to come back and fist fight them or not. But I think that this team has potential to be a top 3 team, in my humble opinion. So my experience with Pierce last year is extremely different from my experience, or like everyone else's experiences, I guess, from the previous years. Pierce last year was a really good teammate. You know, he had his moments, but everyone does. But I don't think it was anywhere near as bad as like people were really making it out to be from his previous seasons, like all the benchings and, you know, all that crazy drama shit. So I think Pierce has mellowed out a lot. He was doing yoga last season, so maybe that's what it is. Who knows? So if him and Austin can get along, I think that they have a recipe, on paper at least, to be a allegedly phenomenal team. I really wholeheartedly think that this team has like crazy high skill ceilings. Pierce is fucking insane. I think Austin is also insane. He did not get to play the entirety of last year, which definitely handicapped him, I feel, for my boy. And then you have Asim, who was, you know, in your face, high intensity, super underrated sub for New York. He was a cornerstone of their gameplay, and if you think otherwise, you don't know what you're talking about. And then Kyler, who, again, insane skill ceiling, really didn't get to play much Call of Duty last season. So I think if you get a full year under Kyler and Austin, things could definitely happen. You know, LAG, similar to London, most certainly took advantage allegedly of the offseason. So, you know, things are going well, guys. 2 of the bottom 4 teams are making really, really good teams so far. So it could be 3 with Seattle. I don't know how that, I legitimately have no idea how the fuck that team's going to do. The bottom 4 teams are making moves. I'm tippable at LAG, allegedly. Moving on, we have the Toronto Ultra sticking together, allegedly. You know, shocker, I guess. And then the other juicy one is so when Crim 6 got dropped, everyone thought that Clay was going to go back to New York for like go back to Dallas rather, for like a reunion situation, and you know, that allegedly isn't the case. Here we have Crim 6, Clay, Hydra, and Neptune as a team on the New York Subliners. And this is another team very similar to LAG, where I think this fucking skill ceiling is ridiculously high. Clay and Crim have like one of the best duos in terms of like Lion Man card that I have ever seen in my life. These guys are absolutely insane together in terms of just like how they view the game, and I think that their work ethic when they're motivated is like ridiculous, and I think their ability to teach the game is also ridiculous. So I think having Hydra going into his second year with Neptune as well going into his second year, I think that these guys are just like it's a fucking Bob Ross painting, and Neptune and Hydra are the canvas, and Clay and Crim are painting nice little clouds and shit. If Hydra and Nep listen to everything that Thick Six and Clay have to say, I think that this team, again, potential like top 3. Like it's insane the alleged level of competition allegedly that this season is going to have. So who knows what's going to happen here. I'm a big fan of both of these LAG and New York rosters, so you know, we're doing well so far. We have another one, the Rocker, allegedly sticking together. They did win a major. I don't really think they should have made a change. The only arguable one was like Austin for Major Maniac, but that didn't happen. So, I mean, I think that team sticking together is reasonable, allegedly. Florida, I have no fucking clue. I don't think anyone has an idea, so I'm not even going to attempt to figure out what's going on over there. And that is similar to NRG in Paris as well. I don't really know what's going on with all 3 of those organizations, so I don't really want to speculate allegedly what's going on there. So we're just going to leave it. There hasn't really been much to allegedly discuss yet, so we're just going to hang out for now. The Dallas merger roster, hasn't changed. That's allegedly that's going to be, you know, the Scum Dashy, Illy, and Shotzi alleged roster. Atlanta, yeah. And then last but not least, the LA